Maura Murray was a young woman with a promising future. She was just 21 years old in early 2004, a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, known for her intelligence and her athletic ability. She was a talented runner, a standout on her high school track team. Friends and family described her as driven and caring. She was someone who seemed to have a clear path ahead of her, a life full of potential waiting to unfold. Yet, beneath the surface, complexities and personal struggles were emerging, adding layers to the bright image many held of her. She came from a close-knit family. Her father, Fred Murray, was particularly devoted. Maura was the second youngest of 5 children. She'd grown up in Hanson, Massachusetts, a small town south of Boston. Her ambition to become a nurse spoke to her compassionate nature. She had also briefly attended the United States Military Academy at West Point, a testament to her discipline and capability. This background painted a picture of a capable young woman, not someone who would simply vanish without a reason. Her life seemed ordinary, yet extraordinary in its own quiet way. The events that led to her disappearance began to unfold with a series of unusual occurrences. These moments, viewed in retrospect, hint at a period of personal turmoil. Her studies, her relationships, and her own well-being seem to be under some strain. It's this juxtaposition of a bright, capable student and an individual facing hidden pressures that makes her story so compelling. What was truly going on in Maura's life in those early weeks of 2004 remains a central part of the mystery that continues to baffle investigators and grip the public's attention even now, more than 2 decades later. The Maura Murray that her friends knew was vibrant and full of life. They recall her laughter and her competitive spirit. Yet there was also a more private side to Maura, one that perhaps she didn't share openly with everyone. This internal world with its own set of worries and aspirations is something investigators have tried to piece together. Understanding who Maura was in all her facets is crucial. It helps to shed light on the choices she might have made in the days and hours leading up to that cold February night in New Hampshire. Her story is a stark reminder that even those who seem strong can face invisible battles. In the days immediately preceding her disappearance, Maura Murray's behavior took some inexplicable turns. On Thursday, February 5th, 2004, while on duty at her campus security job, Maura reportedly became emotional. She was on the phone and a supervisor found her in tears. The details of that call are not entirely clear, but it seemed to leave her deeply upset. This emotional state was a stark contrast to her usually composed demeanor. It was a sign, perhaps, that something significant was weighing on her mind, something she couldn't easily shake off. Then, just 2 nights later, on Saturday, February 7th, Maura was involved in a minor car accident. She was driving her father's new Toyota Corolla in Hadley, Massachusetts. She reportedly hit a guardrail, causing several $1,000s in damage to the vehicle. Fred Murray later said he told her not to worry excessively about the car. He planned to handle it through insurance. However, this incident added another layer of stress to what already seemed like a difficult period for Maura. Such an event could certainly contribute to a desire to escape or clear one's head. The following Monday, February 9th, the day she vanished, Maura made several unusual preparations. She packed a bag with clothes, toiletries, and her college textbooks. She also emailed her professors and work supervisor stating she would be gone for about a week due to a death in the family. Her family later confirmed there had been no death. This fabrication is one of the most puzzling aspects of the case. It suggests a premeditated departure, a plan to be away, but the reason behind this deception remains a haunting question. Furthermore, Maura had been searching online for directions to the Berkshires in Massachusetts and Burlington, Vermont. These searches indicate she was planning a trip, but her exact destination was not explicitly stated to anyone. She also withdrew $280 from an ATM. This was nearly all the money in her bank account. These actions, taken together, paint a picture of someone deliberately setting out on a journey, but the purpose of that journey and why she felt the need to mislead those around her are mysteries that linger to this day, fueling endless speculation and investigative efforts. On the afternoon of Monday, February 9th, 2004, Maura Murray set off from her UMass Amherst dormitory. She was driving her black 1996 Saturn sedan, a car that would soon become a focal point of the investigation. Her packed bags were with her. The $280 she had withdrawn from the ATM was likely in her possession. She had told no one, not her family nor her close friends, where she was truly going. The emails about a family emergency provided a cover story, allowing her to leave without immediate alarm bells ringing. Her journey began in solitude. Her movements after leaving campus were partially traceable. Around 3:15 p.m. she visited an ATM. Shortly thereafter, surveillance footage captured her at a liquor store near the university. She purchased an assortment of alcoholic beverages including Kahlua, Bailey's Irish Cream, vodka, and a box of Francia wine. The quantity and variety of alcohol bought have been subjects of much discussion. Was it for a party or for personal consumption during a solitary getaway? This purchase adds another layer of complexity to her state of mind and her intentions for the trip. Maura then began driving north. Her intended destination remains one of a great many unanswered questions in this case. While she had searched for directions to areas in Massachusetts and Vermont, she ended up in New Hampshire. Was she heading to a specific place, perhaps a cabin or a spot she knew from her childhood trips to the White Mountains? Or was she driving without a clear endpoint, simply seeking solace or escape? The lack of a known destination makes retracing her steps, both physically and mentally, incredibly challenging for those trying to find her. The drive itself would have taken several hours. As she traveled further north, the landscape would have become more rural, more isolated. The weather in New England in early February can be harsh and unpredictable. What was going through Maura's mind during that solitary drive? Was she anxious, determined, or perhaps a mixture of emotions? These are questions that only Maura could answer. Her silent journey towards the White Mountains set the stage for the events that would soon transpire, leading to a mystery that has endured for over 20 years. Around 7:00 p.m. on that cold Monday evening, Maura Murray's black satin sedan was involved in a single-car accident. This occurred on Route 112, also known as Wild Ammonoosuc Road, in the small town of Haverhill, New Hampshire. The road is a winding rural highway that cuts through a heavily wooded area of the White Mountains. It's a place where cell phone service can be spotty even today. Maura's car apparently spun out and hit a snowbank on the side of the road, causing damage but seemingly not severe enough to cause major injury at first glance. A local school bus driver named Butch Atwood was returning home when he came upon the scene. This was approximately 7:27 p.m. He saw Maura's car, positioned facing west in the eastbound lane. Atwood pulled over and spoke with Maura. He asked if she needed help or if he should call the police. Maura, according to Atwood, appeared cold and was shivering, but she was not visibly injured. She reportedly urged him not to call the police, stating she had already called AAA for assistance. This claim about AAA would later be found to be untrue. Atwood, concerned for her safety in the dark and cold, offered her a ride or to wait with her. She declined his offers. He lived just a short distance down the road, about 100 yards away. He proceeded home and, despite Maura's request, he called the police himself around 7:43 p.m. He reported the accident, concerned that she might be impaired or in need of help she wasn't accepting. His call initiated the official response to the situation, but a crucial window of time had already passed. The interaction between Butch Atwood and Maura Murray is pivotal. It is the last confirmed sighting of Maura. He described her as coherent, though perhaps a bit shaken. Her refusal of help and her false claim about calling AAA are perplexing. Why would she not want the police involved? Was she worried about the previous accident with her father's car, or perhaps the alcohol she had purchased? These few minutes on the side of Route 112 hold many clues, yet they also deepen the enigma surrounding her subsequent disappearance. The first Haverhill police officer arrived at the scene of Maura's crashed Saturn at approximately 7:46 p.m. This was less than 20 minutes after Butch Atwood had left Maura to call for help. In that short span of time, something critical happened. When the officer pulled up, Maura Murray was gone. The black Saturn was there, locked. Some of her belongings, like her backpack and cell phone, were missing. However, other personal items, including some of the alcohol she had purchased earlier, were left behind in the car. The car itself presented a few oddities. The windshield was cracked on the driver's side. Both airbags had deployed. Outside the car, a AAA card bearing Maura's name was found on the ground. Perhaps, most curiously, a rag was found stuffed into the tailpipe of the Saturn. The purpose of this rag has been debated extensively. Was it an attempt to cause the car to stall, something Maura might have read about as a way to feign car trouble? Or did it have another, more sinister explanation? Investigators have considered various possibilities. The scene was eerily quiet. There were no footprints in the fresh snow leading away from the immediate vicinity of the car, at least none that were immediately obvious or that indicated a clear direction of travel into the dense woods. The officer on scene checked the area, but Maura was nowhere to be found. It was as if she had simply vanished into the cold night air. The speed of her disappearance was baffling. How could someone disappear so completely, so quickly, from a roadside with woods on one side and a few houses on the other? This rapid disappearance has led to many questions about whether she left on foot or if someone else was involved. Could she have accepted a ride from a passing motorist, someone who arrived and left in those few minutes between Atwood's departure and the police arrival? If so, who was this person, and were their intentions benign or malevolent? The lack of concrete evidence at the scene, no signs of a struggle, no definitive trail, only deepened the mystery. Maura Murray had stepped out of her car and into the unknown. Once it became clear Maura Murray was missing, search efforts began almost immediately. The New Hampshire Fish and Game Department, along with state and local police, spearheaded the initial operations. The area surrounding the crash site on Route 112 is challenging terrain. It's characterized by dense forests, steep hills, and in February, deep snow and freezing temperatures. These conditions made any search incredibly difficult and dangerous. The urgency was palpable. A young woman was missing in a harsh environment. Search teams, including K9 units, scoured the woods and roadsides near where Maura's car was found. Helicopters were brought in to search from the air, hoping to spot any sign of her from above. The Atwood property was searched, as were other nearby residences and outbuildings. Despite these extensive efforts, in the critical first 24 to 48 hours, no trace of Maura was found. The tracking dogs reportedly lost her scent a short distance from the car, suggesting she might have gotten into another vehicle. Maura's family, including her father Fred, her siblings and her boyfriend Bill Rausch, rushed to New Hampshire as soon as they learned she was missing. Fred Murray in particular became a fixture in the area, conducting his own searches and pleading for information. He was relentless, driven by a father's desperate need to find his daughter. The family distributed flyers with Maura's picture and information, hoping someone somewhere had seen something that could lead them to her. Their pain was evident to all who encountered them. The local community in Haverhill and the surrounding towns was also deeply affected. People volunteered to help in the searches, offered support to the family, and shared any information they thought might be relevant. However, despite the combined efforts of law enforcement, trained searchers, family and volunteers, Maura remained missing. The lack of any significant clues was frustrating and heartbreaking. Days turned into weeks, and the initial intensive searches eventually had to be scaled back, though the investigation remained open and active. Over the 2 decades since Maura Murray vanished, numerous theories have emerged attempting to explain her disappearance. These range from the plausible to the highly speculative. One early theory was that Maura, disoriented and perhaps under the influence of alcohol, wandered off into the woods and succumbed to the elements. The harsh New Hampshire winter would make survival extremely difficult without shelter. However, extensive searches of the area immediately surrounding the crash site yielded no signs of her, which makes this less likely for some. Another prominent theory is that Maura intended to disappear and start a new life. Her packed bags, the cash withdrawal, and the email to her professors about a non-existent family death could support this idea. Perhaps she was feeling overwhelmed by personal issues, the car accident involving her father's car, pressures at school, or relationship troubles. Some have speculated she might have had help, a pre-arranged meeting with someone who picked her up near the crash site. This theory offers a glimmer of hope that she might still be alive somewhere. The possibility of foul play cannot be dismissed. Did Maura encounter someone on Route 112 after Butch Atwood left? Could a passing motorist have offered her a ride and then harmed her? This is a deeply concerning scenario and one that investigators have seriously considered. The remote location and the darkness would have made her vulnerable. The lack of any communication from Maura since that night strongly suggests that if she is not alive, something tragic occurred. The details of such an encounter, however, remain entirely unknown. Investigators have explored leads related to local individuals and have followed up on countless tips over the years. Her father, Fred Murray, has long believed that his daughter was abducted by someone local to the area. He has pointed to specific circumstances and individuals he finds suspicious. The case has also attracted a vast online community of amateur sleuths, each with their own interpretations of the evidence. While their interest keeps Maura's story alive, it also sometimes creates a confusing landscape of information and misinformation. The truth, however, remains elusive. For Maura Murray's family, the past 2 decades have been an agonizing journey of uncertainty and grief. Her father, Fred Murray, has been the most public face of this enduring struggle. From the moment he learned his daughter was missing, he has dedicated himself to finding answers. He has traveled to New Hampshire countless times, organizing his own searches, often braving the same harsh conditions Maura might have faced. His persistence is a testament to a father's unwavering love and his refusal to give up hope, even when leads grow cold. Maura's siblings, Kurt, Kathleen, Julie and her half-brother, as well as other relatives and close friends, have also lived with the profound impact of her absence. They have shared memories of Maura, keeping her spirit alive while grappling with the void she left behind. Interviews with family members often reveal the deep emotional toll. "We just want to know what happened to Maura. We need closure," is a sentiment frequently expressed. They have participated in documentaries and media interviews, hoping to generate new leads and keep Maura's case in the public consciousness. The family has had to navigate not only their personal grief, but also the intense public scrutiny and speculation that surrounds such a high-profile missing person case. They have faced criticism at times and have had to deal with theories that they find painful or far-fetched. Yet through it all, their primary goal has remained constant: to find Maura and bring her home, or at least to uncover the truth of what happened to her on that desolate stretch of Route 112. Their resilience in the face of such prolonged uncertainty is remarkable. The family has often expressed gratitude for the support they have received from many quarters, including law enforcement officials who continue to work on the case, and the wider community that keeps Maura's memory alive. They have established websites and social media pages dedicated to her search. These platforms serve as a central point for information and allow people to share tips. Their fight is not just for Maura, but for all families of missing persons who endure the same agonizing wait for answers, a wait that, for the Murrays, has now stretched over 20 long years. More than 2 decades have passed since Maura Murray disappeared on that cold February night in 2004. Yet her case continues to resonate deeply with people across the country and even around the world. The mystery of what happened to the bright nursing student who vanished after a minor car crash has become one of the most discussed, unsolved cases of the digital age. Part of its enduring fascination lies in the unsettling combination of relatable circumstances and inexplicable actions. Many can imagine a young person feeling overwhelmed, needing to get away. The rise of the internet and social media has played a significant role in keeping Maura's story alive. Online forums, podcasts and documentaries dissect every detail of the case, often unearthing new perspectives or re-examining old clues. This intense public interest has been a double-edged sword. It has undoubtedly generated awareness and occasional leads for investigators. However, it has also led to a proliferation of theories, some more grounded in fact than others, creating a complex web of information that can be challenging for both the family and law enforcement. The Maura Murray case serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the haunting reality of missing persons. For every solved crime, there are cases like Maura's that remain stubbornly open, leaving families in a perpetual state of limbo. Her story highlights the dedication of law enforcement agencies that continue to investigate cold cases, often with limited resources. It also underscores the pain and resilience of families who never stop searching for their loved ones, holding on to hope against diminishing odds. The case challenges our sense of security and order. Ultimately, Maura Murray's disappearance matters because she was a daughter, a sister, a friend, a young woman with a life yet to be lived. The unanswered questions surrounding her fate leave an open wound, not just for her family, but for a wider community that has come to care about her story. The hope remains that one day, a crucial piece of information will surface or a witness will come forward that finally provides the answers her loved ones seek. Until then, the mystery of Maura Murray endures, a haunting reminder of a life interrupted and a truth yet to be found. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.